In today's story, I tell you about Lawrence Warunge, who murdered his entire nuclear family after getting inspiration from a series called Killing Eve. Welcome to Informa Reports, and as always, if you appreciate our storytelling videos, support us by liking and subscribing. Inspired by a British TV series called Killing Eve, Simon Lawrence Warunge got an idea to erase his entire family from the face of the earth. On 5th January 2021, Warunge, a student at Mount Kenya University, traveled home to murder his entire family. On reaching home, he accessed the house through the back gate where he met their farmhand, one James Kinyanjui, where they had a brief conversation, and Lawrence asked the farmhand to give him a metal bar. James complied because Warunge was the boss's son and did not think he would harm him. He gave him the rod and turned to continue with his work, only for Lawrence to hit him from the back, killing him on the spot and slit his throat. In Warunge's plans, James was not included, but since he was in the compound, Warunge never wanted him to alert neighbors as he committed his heinous acts. After killing James, Warunge took a break at the crime scene to await the father's arrival, one Mr. Nicholas Warunge, from work. At around 8 p.m., the father came, and Warunge jumped over the perimeter wall, got shocked by the fence, but managed to cross over. He proceeded to cut the power, and then proceeded to the kitchen where the mother, Anne Wanjiku, was preparing supper. He hit her with a metal rod on the head. She tried to fight back, but Lawrence overpowered her and stabbed her multiple times, and he proceeded to slit her throat. He proceeded to seize the brother, Christian Jenga, only for him to overpower him and run upstairs to the bed. At this time, the father was upstairs having a shower when he heard the commotion and came out, only to find Warunge standing at his sitting area holding a knife and a metal rod. Warunge chased the father into the room, and out of fear, the father jumped through the balcony to go seek for help. However, on landing down, he dislocated his ankle and was unable to stand and move. And with this, Lawrence came out and was able to get to him and stabbed him multiple times. He went back into the house and up to the house, into the room where his nephew Maxwell Njenga was, and stabbed him multiple times, and proceeded to Christian's room, who had been hiding under the bed. Christian begged him to spare his life. However, Lawrence was not having it, and he stabbed him multiple times. He proceeded to search for his two sisters, but fortunately for them, they had reported to their respective schools earlier that day. He later realized that the father was still alive, and he picked up the knife again and went out to finish him. He stabbed him several times, leaving his intestines hanging out. Mind you, the father had just arrived from the United States of America 2 weeks earlier, where he had been working as a nurse. He went back to the house, took a bath, changed his clothes, and went to the kitchen to finish what the mother was cooking, and he turned the power on, proceeded to watch television as he had his dinner. While having his food, he heard a knock on the door, and it was the police. The police had been called by the farmhand co-workers who had returned only to find James dead.
Hapa tulifunga kazi 5, mimi nikatokea. Kurudi nilikuwa narudi around saa 3. Kapata mwenzangu ameuliwa hapa. Yeah.
So ulipigia nani simu kwanza?
Nipigia boss wangu. Hadi akakuja na afisa wa polisi.
The police, however, left because no one opened the door, and they assumed everyone was asleep and they would return the following day. All this time, Lawrence was watching them from the parents' bedroom. At around 4 a.m., after spending some time on the parents' bed, Lawrence picked up the clothes used during the murder, took the parents' mobile phones and asked for a lift as he was on his way to hide the evidence and burn some of the evidence. In the morning, police returned only to be met by the gruesome murders. The neighbors were shocked to learn of the incident that had silently happened while they were sleeping. With no suspect in mind, police tried to reach Lawrence Warunge, as he was the only surviving family member with a phone. But for some reason, his phone was switched off. They traced his phone because they were worried that he might have been kidnapped by the perpetrators. And at this point, it's only that they discover that he was in the house that night. After hiding the evidence in Nakuru, Maimayu, he lay low and came back to Kiambu County. And 3 days later, he switched on his phone, and detectives picked up his signal and was arrested later. After interrogations, he confessed to the murders after the girlfriend Sarah Muthoni had been brought in as an accomplice. However, the girlfriend turned to a state witness and was acquitted of all charges. When asked why he did it, he said that his parents were devils and had neglected him since his childhood days. He described his father as a serial drunkard. He said that their house help and neighbors used to mistreat him while the parents were busy with work. He also said that his father used to beat him severely and he never appreciated his efforts. His motives for the crime is still unclear to why he really committed the crime. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family. We hope our video has honored the memory of the fallen victims, while also respecting their privacy and dignity of those affected by the tragedy. Lawrence Warunge remains in the custody awaiting trial. The family now feels that the case is dragging in court. For sure, or someday, justice will be served for the family.